A real hero? What do you mean? Ah, it's 29 years now. Well, 6 months in the mountains. Makes sense. Frieren, wake up! Wake up, Frieren! Come on! Oh, well.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
She does not trust him at all.
そうですね。
ねえ、その剣、勇者の剣だ。
レプリカですよ。
僕はいつか本物の勇者の剣を手に入れて魔王を打ち倒す。
But do you need to have the real sword? Wow.
さすがに運びっぱなしで疲れただろう。フェレン、変わるぜ。
She's not gonna give it to him. I kind of like this running gag of Fern and Stark's like on and off banter.
お待ちしておりました、フリーレン様。
君が今の佐藤さん、若いね。
That is cute. Her trying to. Okay, how old is she? Like for real?
ここが剣の里か。
Ah.
この里の近くの聖域には。
Oh wow, very Arthurian here. The sword and the stone.
歴史上のどんな英雄たちが生き残ろうとしても微動だにしなかった。
Actually taking from that.
その剣を引き抜いたのがヒンメル様なのですね。
聞いたことないのかよ。
いえ、ハイター様からは何も。
I wonder how much of it is actually real though. You know how it goes. History can be twisted into legend.
ちゃんとお役目を果たしてもらわないと。
お役目って何ですか？魔物退治だよ。
Of course. Naturally.
面倒事は早い方がいい。
That was a cut. Whoa! The cave where the sword used to reside? Wonder if the sword is still there. Oh, have we seen this monster design before? I mean, we've seen plenty of monster designs in the show that kind of resembles like canine features. Character standing still without a flinch of like the looming thread is one of my favorite tropes. There it is. Thought so. So the story was twisted. Time to tell the truth.
ヒンメルはこの剣を抜けなかったんだ。
今回の勇者も本物ではありませんでしたか。
That's the grandmother.
僕は魔王を倒して世界の平和を取り戻す。そうすれば偽物だろうが本物だろうが関係ない。
That's the real message.
そしてヒンメルは成し遂げたんだ。
That he did.
ではなぜその事実を隠しているのですか？
It's more convenient that way.
英雄というのはどうしても。
Yep. Yeah.
そしてそのうち原型すらなくなってしまうんだ。
That is an interesting line. Whoa. Whoa.
じゃあまた半世紀後に。
See you in 50 years.
久々の街だな。羽を伸ばせるぜ。
Ah. Very cozy. I love this place.
今日はシュタルクの18歳の誕生日だから。
Stark was only 17 this whole time? Well, I guess. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That shot of Frieren was great.
服だけ溶かす薬。男ってのはね、こういうの渡しておけば喜ぶんだよって先生が言ってた。 この下品な薬買った時に私返品しろって
My oh my.
貴重だったのに
It's okay, Frieren. Real men will understand the true significance of that potion. Ah, the ring. No, tell us more about the ring. Another time, I guess.
シュタルク様
Don't do anything awkward when... Oh, he's gone.
斧を背負った戦士様かい？荷車を押すのを手伝ってくれてね。
Wow. He went out helping people. Wow. Wow.
暴れ牛を止めてくれてね。
This is great. I love this. Wow.
シュタルク様
あの雲おっぱいみたいだマジかよあっちはうんこだ
He's a simple man.
後でフェルンに教えてやろう
Why would you say why start? He's one of the boys.
ちょうどいいところにあの雲さすみませんねえなんで怒ってんの
This is why we need another boy in the group. Stark is all alone. He needs somebody to talk to. You know, one that understands guy talks and such.
シュタルク様何か欲しいものとかありますか
俺誕生日にプレゼントとかもらったことがないんだ
Then this is all the more special.
師匠からももらったことがないからそういうもんなのかと思っていた
故郷の家族からも
単に俺が大事にされていなかったんだろうな
I'm sure they don't feel that way.
弱いやつの居場所なんかなかった
Well,
返り血一つ、泥一つさえ跳ねていない。
father or brother?
シュトルツはこの村の誇りだ。
Oh, that dude is definitely the father. Yeah, okay.
それに比べてシュタルク、あいつは失敗作だ。
The brother definitely cares about Stark. The father dismisses him.
シュタルク、いい集中力だ。
Doesn't lash out on him, training him in kindness. Demons.
俺は故郷が魔族に襲われた時そんな兄貴も見捨てて逃げちまった
Just like Aizen.
俺は逃げたばかりの失敗作だ
Cutting back to the sword.
過去なんて関係ありません 私の見てきた戦士シュタルクは一度たりとも逃げ出していません
There you go.
じゃあこれにしようかな
それは高いからダメ
はい
You told me to pick a present. At least he got one.
師匠もプレゼントはくれなかったけど誕生日のハンバーグだけは作ってくれたな
What is up with this show and ridiculously large foods?
思いっていうのは言葉にしないと伝わらないのに
Yeah.
これは俺の地方の風習でな。精一杯頑張った戦士をねぎらうための贈り物だ。
Oh, that is great.
でもアイゼン、僕たちは戦士じゃないぞ。
頑張った者は皆戦士だ。
Words to live by.
兄貴、何作ってんだ？
ハンバーグ、誕生日だろ。逃げろ、シュタルク。お前は生きるんだ。
Nah, bro, they're pulling the "you gotta live" card. Fuck. It's not a cowardly thing to do if you want to live. Wow. Lovely transition.
アイゼンからレシピをもらったんだよね
Ah, that's the thing that... Okay.
あとこれまだ少し残っているからまた頭からかけますよフリーレン様
ああ何それ
They... We were having a moment. Oh, that was a That was a sweet and beautiful episode. What a beautiful, beautiful episode. Once again, the brilliance of Frieren is shown, especially in like some of the messages and the themes of each individual episodes, and this episode is no exception. It's beautifully done, some incredible little pieces of like action animation here and there and such when they were fighting like the wolf beast. I don't know what they're actually called. I'm just gonna refer to them as like the wolf beast and such, but like that little portion of the episode was like well executed in terms of like action direction. But then the rest of the episode, especially where they are I will say this, since I've talked about this multiple times before, right? I enjoy the world of Frieren. I love the various different places and the cities, the castles, the kingdoms that our party is going through as they are making their journey towards the northern lands, right? And we are now approaching, I guess, the more wintry region, the more snowy, cold region of this continent, and just to see like the difference in structure and architecture between where they are now and where they are before. Like if you look at like the villages in like the, I guess the kingdoms of like the more sunny places, I guess like the places there and the places here where we are now, very different in terms of like architecture, the way it's designed, the way it's created, and it just adds a bit more realism and it just makes the world more lived in and much more believable in that, oh yeah, of course, the people who live up north would create their cities, their houses and whatever like this. Like it just clicks, and I appreciate that. But going back to like the themes and like the messages of this episode, there's two prominent ones, I would say. The first one being that history can be changed, right? The history that will later be spread to the rest of the world can be changed, but the history that we saw, that the individuals that lived through it, that is true history, right? Especially in terms of like here, where the legend of Himmel being able to pull the sword from the stone, nope, that never happened, right? Frieren knows about it, she was there, but the rest of the world actually believed that Himmel actually pulled the stone because it's more convenient that way, because it makes for a more satisfying and, I would say, heroic adventure, heroic story, right? I mean, if you look at our history, there's plenty of times, especially like ancient history, there's plenty of times where events of old are blown out of proportions and they are made and became legends, right? Now we kind of see them as actual legends because we kind of realized, oh shit, like some of the things that they talked about, yeah, that never actually happened, you know, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, perhaps. I mean, did Gilgamesh really did all of that? I mean, maybe he's a real person, maybe he's not, right? Or even something like the Battle of Thermopylae, right, with the 300 Spartans. You know, like sometimes you can blow that out of proportions as well, like saying like how heroic the Spartans are, even though they're you know, and such. But it's really fun to see it being explored in the context of Frieren, and especially in regards to Frieren, because of its tied with its theme of time and how time fleeting and how time changing and how we look back at time and do we look at it the same way again and such, right? But then the other thing that I do want to talk about, which is the second theme of the episode, is the meaning behind what it is to become a warrior. Now, there's plenty, I would say, of stories, fictional ones and maybe real ones, that kind of involve involve a very similar idea of like, yeah, if you know, like the soldier, the warrior, the masculine projection that is used to describe what it is to be a warrior is kind of getting peeled off and changed into something that is far more emotional, I would say, because the sometimes the running theme, and you know what I mean. Yeah, sometimes when we're talking about like what it is to be like a man, or what it is to be, you know, like a giga chad, if you will, it's like you remove emotions and such, you know, like crying is for babies and such, you know, like, you know what I'm talking about, toxic masculinity and such. But the projection of what it is to be a true warrior is something that modern fictional stories are changing, and in my opinion, for the better. I mean, I just finished playing God of War about a couple of months ago, and that is also a really good example of a character that, from a physical appearance, is shown to be very masculine, someone who is a literal god, someone who will deal massive damage, someone who appears to not show any emotion or remorse, but deep down you kind of take that all away. You kind of dive deeper into the character, and then you see how much emotion and how much human the character is actually hiding from the inside, that they don't want to let out because they are afraid that it will be shown as a weakness. But then the game slowly shows it, and then what the character thought to be weakness became their ultimate power. That is what makes them a true warrior, basically. And then, of course, you know, like, if we're talking in the realm of anime, Vinland Saga just came out like a couple of at the start of the year with Vinland Saga Season 2. I don't need to fully talk about it, but the concept of being a true warrior and all that such, really well handled in that show, in my opinion. And Frieren kind of dabbles into that pretty well within this episode as well, even if this is just like a peek into it, because it's only a single episode. It's not like the main theme of the show, at least for now. I don't know yet, you know, like, I don't know if they're going to be expanding on it, but I think they will, considering if we are going to be tying it to Stark's character. So I love how at the start of the episode we see Himmel kind of proclaiming that, yeah, I am going to get that sword and I am going to pull it and I will become a true warrior. I'm going to be the real hero, right? Like, currently I'm just a fake hero. This is a fake sword that I have, but I'm going to get the real sword and therefore I will become a real hero. But the story says, no, that is not what it means to be a true hero. No, why would you have to obey the laws of the universe? Why would you want to accept that the only way for you to become a hero is if you satisfy the requirements of a certain destiny or whatever? You know, like, oh, you're not a hero if you don't pull the actual sword of the hero. And the story is telling us to defy that. No, you can become your own hero. You can be the hero that you always wanted to be, and you don't have to follow any of these rules. If you believe in yourself, then you can become the hero, right? And that is exactly what happened to Himmel. Himmel believed in himself that, hey, I can't pull this sword. Just because I can't have this sword doesn't mean that I'm going to give up on defeating the Demon King. That is what I set out to do, and that is exactly what he did, right? He set out, defeated the Demon King with the fake sword, and now the fake sword becomes the real sword, right? And it's a funny thing, right? The replica, the fake one, ultimately becomes the real one, right? That is what people associate it with, you know, like the sword. And I would imagine that some people actually, some people would think that the real sword was actually buried with Himmel, because we do see Himmel being buried with his sword, right? But that's not the hero's sword, it's the fake one, and yet the fake one is more real than the real one. And I find that to be beautiful. Just as beautiful as this scene where Aizen is cooking this Hamburg steak that is, I guess, for warriors, and the gang's like, but we're not warriors. And I love what Aizen says afterwards. Like, a real warrior is somebody who is hardworking, you know, somebody who is doing whatever they need to do, somebody who is doing their job, somebody who is defying everything and saying, no, I can do this, I believe in myself. That is what it means to be a warrior. And I love that. And all of these themes of past history being twisted in their story, not really what they are, and the idea of what it is to be a warrior and such, and all of these themes kind of come together nicely with Stark's backstory, because it is an amalgamation of all of those things combined, right? Throughout the journey, if we take in Stark's description of his past in face value, it made it seem like Stark ran away because he was a coward. But then we see the reality, we see what is true history, we see what is the truth, and that is Stark didn't run away because he was cowardly. No, he was being told by his brother, the one who is, in Stark's eye, the greatest warrior of all time. He was the one who said, no, Stark, you need to run away. You need to run, you need to leave, you need to flee, not because you are a coward, but because that is the way for you to survive. You need to live, and choosing to live should not be seen as a cowardly move. Well, there are some exceptions to that, and if we're looking at like certain like history and whatever, but like we're in just for this episode, just for the sake of the theme that this episode is trying to tell you, it is okay to do that. It is fine. Your life matters. And that is why I think this episode was really great. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching my reaction and review of this episode of Frieren. Really enjoyed it. Thank you all so much. Early access and full uncut reactions, as usual, are all available in the description below. I will see you all next time for the next episode of Frieren. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day. Peace.